We have with us today David Keller. Thanks for joining us. David is our regional manager of the Beach Cities. And why don't you tell him a little bit about yourself, how long you've been in the business?
Well, let's see. Down here in the South Bay, 34 years, and maybe a few years before that.
So you coach and manage a lot of agents and have for many years. Mm-hmm. What's the number one thing that you see get in the way of an agent's success?
I would say probably trying to be over-prepared before they do anything. You actually have to jump in and actually do a transaction as quickly as you can.
So we call that hurry up and get ready. You need to just have an action plan and do the action. And don't worry that it's absolutely perfect.
More like ready, fire, aim.
I love it. I love it. So you're very successful. You had a great year last year. Congratulations on your success. And you're always one of the top agents. Tell us about your business and maybe how you see this market different than when you first started. And how do you get clients and how do you get your business?
Well, actually, maybe the difference is not so different. I'm finding that, sure, there are lots of tools. It's social media, people are texting, and that wasn't available when I first started, of course, but ultimately it's a people business. So unless you're actually talking to the person, usually live at some point, face to face, you need to be able to trust them, they need to be able to trust you and know that you can advise them correctly. They're not going to, as the old saying goes, they're not going to know that you care. They're not going to care what you know unless they know that you care.
That's true. And I know a lot of agents hide behind email and text. And how do you communicate with your agents? And as far as follow-up, two-part question, how do you communicate with your past clients? Mm-hmm. And how do you stay in touch with them?
Past clients and anybody that I need to communicate with, whether they're a potential client or a past client, usually by some scheduled mailings as well as scheduled emailings, and then the random personal note or personal phone call.
Okay. Do you believe in handwritten notes?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. So how has the market shifted with technology, and what do you see moving forward with technology as playing a part in the real estate transaction?
I think that, unfortunately, it's easier to hide behind some technology and feel that your message that you're sending out is going to automatically earn you business, whereas it might make them notice you, but you still have to talk to that person. You still have to be able to communicate properly to another human being. That's all there is to it.
So one last question. The agents get in trouble often, and you're a master of kind of unraveling a problem. What's the number one reason agents get in trouble in the first place?
Well, let's put it this way. They're not exactly in trouble. They just might think they are.
Okay.
And there's a little bit of panic that sets in, and then they freeze. It's easy as a third party to look outside the emotions or whatever is involved in the transaction and offer a solution. Usually things can be solved pretty simply if everybody just sits back and calms down and starts over to see where the communication broke down. And that's usually what it is.
I agree. I think the transaction is a highly emotional transaction that we're involved in, and I think the agent's emotions often get in the way of a smooth transaction. So David, before we got started, you said part of your job is being a therapist. Can you elaborate on that?
Yes, I think I can. I do have clients every once in a while that'll call me and say, hey Dave, I need some real estate therapy. Now those are past clients that have been through the wars already. But I think an agent would do well just to really do the best they can to put themselves in the client's shoes.
Okay.
Treat them the way you want to be treated in a transaction, and think in advance of what you would want to hear if you were the seller or you were the buyer. What's most important to you? If you work it backwards from there, you'll be able to allay some of their fears and roll things out in a step-by-step basis for them so they'll understand.
So more of an advisory role than necessarily a mechanic of the contract and the transaction.
Correct. Absolutely true.
Okay. You're on top of the market, and you have a lot of experience, and we're kind of in crossroads right now with coming out of the pandemic, crazy low inventory market. What do you see the market doing the rest of the year and into next year?
I'm no better at predicting the market than anyone else. And anyone that tells you they can probably might even be less so. However, we've been heading this direction for a number of years, with supply and demand being the major factor. The most important thing, I think, to reiterate to your clients, no matter where they are in the scheme of buying or selling, or what's happening in the market, because James, you remember, like I do, 18% interest rates, right?
Yes,
that was
absolutely.
the norm. So
And we still sold real estate.
Absolutely. I even made loans during that time. People were happy when it got to single digits, including myself. Is that the time to buy real estate or sell real estate is whenever you're ready to do it. Don't try to time the market. Don't try to guess as to what's up, down, or sideways. But real wealth is created by owning properties and has been for a long, long time. So when you're able to buy or sell and trade up, when you're capable of doing that, do it, and do it as soon as possible.
I love that answer. Well, thanks for being with us, David. I appreciate you coming.
Thanks.